everyone. It's Lisa, and this is the third part of me trying to find Criterion films that are currently streaming on HBO Max as of July 2022. And this is all in an effort to sort of curb the spending during the Barnes and Noble 50% off Criterion sale. I've already gone to Barnes and Noble twice, and I'm going to go a third time, but I never let myself get more than four at a time. And I'm definitely not getting anything until November. And so I just thought I'm going to make this list so that we all can have it. And this way we have access to Criterion films since we cannot afford, or let me say, I cannot afford to get all of the films that I want. And HBO Max has such a large variety of Criterion films. Obviously, it doesn't have everything, but I would say it's probably my favorite streaming service because it has so many classics. But then there are also so many newer films and TV shows that I really want to see. I was so happy to see The Batman on HBO Max because I had the worst experience I've ever had at a movie theater watching that movie, and I actually had to leave about 25 minutes into it because it was just so horrendously bad. And it has things like Irma Vep, the remake with Alicia Vikander. So I'm just really excited. But also, all of these films that are on HBO Max are also streaming on the Criterion channel. And the Criterion channel has so many more films than just what HBO Max has. I was just thinking probably a good chunk of people have HBO Max, but if you have the Criterion channel, which is also just an incredible streaming service, all of these films are there as well. So we're starting off at 201. We have 279 movies total. And then, of course, I will be giving you guys, there's the link in the description to the website that will just give you all of these movies. It's not a real website. It's just something I put together so that there is a way for you to get this list in its completed version. And if I miss anything, please just write a comment and I'll put it on the list. I'm not putting in films that are streaming on the Criterion channel but are not actually part of the Criterion collection. But other than that, I know I am missing some, so please let me know. All right, so we're starting with Richard III, which you have access to, The Rise of Catherine the Great. That goes into the right, is also Criterion. And then Rome Open City, A Room with the View, which is something that I definitely remember having seen this as a teenager. And I saw it once in my 20s as well, and I really loved it. The Ruling Class. And then here is one that I have wanted to see for such a long time, and it just looks so funny, which is Safety Last. So that's one, like I have a list from this list that I have that I am definitely watching during the summer, and that is one of them. All right, then moving on, we have Salesman, the Samurai Trilogy. Nope, it is not. It is a movie. That is something I thought actually was, but it wasn't. Um, Moving on from there, Sawdust and Tinsel. Of course, Scanners, my lord. Scenes from a Marriage, which will definitely be watching before I watch the remake. I have a feeling the remake will not be nearly as good as the original. Secrets and Lies, which is okay. So, Secrets and Lies is one of those movies that I watched in high school and in college over and over again. I was just obsessed with this film from Mike Leigh. I haven't seen it since I was in my 20s. So this is one of those like absolutely watching soon. It just made me feel so much. And that's my real memory of it. There is Senso, Seven Samurai, which we are not playing that. And then it will take 5 hours to get to where I need to be. Nope, there we go. Perfect. Seventh Seal, Shadows, which is another one that really is on my list to watch soon. Shaft, and then Shake Otis at Monterey. And I'll just move this up. I'm looking at my iPad to make sure I am staying on track and not missing things, or at least doing the best that I possibly can. So, next is Shock Corridor, which this film just sounds so interesting. This was something that was already on my list of journalist going into a mental institution and pretending that has some kind of a mental disorder to see the horrible treatment of the patients. And that is just something that I'm very interested in watching. All right, next up, let's make sure we don't miss. We have it. We have Shock. We have okay. So next we have Sisters. As far as I can tell, wow, that was more than I expected. Okay, Sisters, which is actually a Brian De Palma film, and I have, as I said before, been on such a Brian De Palma kick, so I am so into it. Smithereens is also on that list, and as well as The Soft Skin. So that's what we're going for, obviously. Solaris is there. Excellent, excellent film. Son of Godzilla. So another Godzilla film. Next, we have Speedy. And then after that, we have Stagecoach, which is an absolute classic. Stalker, which I have yet to see. I think the length of it intimidates me, maybe a little bit, but I will absolutely be watching it. It is on my list that I have on HBO Max. We have a story of floating weeds, Stranger Than Paradise. Streetcar is not on the list, but I would just give a shout out because I love Streetcars so much. I teach that play, so that's probably why. Stromboli as well. And then Summertime, which is actually one of the newer releases. I think they just put this on Blu-ray, I believe. Love Katharine Hepburn. And so this is another one that I'm very excited to see. Next up, we have Sweetie, which is a Jane Campion film. So I loved The Power of the Dog, love the piano. So that is another one that I definitely will be watching. Next, we have going through A Taste of Honey, Terror of Mecha Godzilla, and then I believe this one, let me check. Yes, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse. And then That Hamilton Woman, The Thief of Baghdad. I saw The 13th Floor the other day. I wasn't crazy about it. The Threepenny Opera, I believe that was on. Yes. Throne of Blood, obviously, Through a Glass Darkly. Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, which is a Pedro Almodovar, and he is someone that I've gone back and been watching his films sort of one by one. Haven't seen this one yet. Definitely want to. You have Time Bandits, The Times of Harvey Milk. I think, yep, The Tin Drum was as well. To Be or Not to Be. This one, not Mel Brooks. And then next, oh, obviously we have Tokyo Story, Tokyo Twilight, and then Tom Jones. Wow, why does that surprise me? It does. Tootsie, which I just rewatched, and it is a fun movie. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, but once Criterion made it part of their list, I decided that I had to do it. So we had then, I just saw this as well, the Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and that was very interesting. It I liked it. It was dated, but it was so artistic, and you were in such an odd, dreamy world. And all of David Lynch's films are like that. I enjoyed it. I still think, no, I know. I like Mulholland Drive, still the best. And then Blue Velvet right under that. But I'm really glad I saw it, and I did really like it. Yugetsu, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which I love that movie. And then Vampire. Was it a Victim one? Yeah, it was. Victim was one. Victor Victoria is currently streaming on Criterion, but not actually a Criterion film as of yet. The Wages of Fear, Wanda, War and Peace. So you have all of that there. I believe The War of the Gargantuans. No, I thought that was a Godzilla film, but it's not. The War Room, Watership Down, Weekend, which is a film that I remember watching in college in a film class, and just I will never forget that shot with the car accident. If you have seen the film, there is no way you have forgotten about it. And while it is not one of my favorite films from Godard, it is something that has always stuck in my brain. Next, we have West Front 1918, and then all the way down a little more, Wild Strawberries, Wings of Desire, which is definitely on my list, and Wise Blood. Going through more with Nail and I. That is just an interesting title that I have no idea what that is about. A Woman Under the Influence, which is something that is another summer film that I know I'm going to watch. And I've heard mixed things about it, uh, but I am definitely interested to see Jenna Roland's performance in the film. Then next up was blah, 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 Yojimbo is the next one, and now we are getting right to the end. We have The Young Girls of Roquefort and then Z. And so these are all the movies that are under the TMC, not TCM. What did I say? TMC? Yeah. Obviously, I was thinking of something else. So now I'm just going to search Criterion, and I found that there were a bunch of films that came up that weren't in the TCM section. So I'm just going to go through those. So there's Irma Vep, which I talked about before, and then In the Mood for Love, I'm almost certain was not on the actual TCM list. Going through this was, and then The Lure was not, which is just such an interesting film that I want to see. Dead Man, the Jim Jarmusch film with Johnny Depp, and then I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting Fat Girl, which was a movie that I've heard so many positive things about that it's very difficult to get through. I had no idea this was on HBO Max until I did the search with Criterion. So that is another thing I will absolutely see. Next, there was a film called Desert Hearts. There it is, Desert Hearts. And then La Cienega. You could see most of these are actually there. Oh, and then here was the other. They had Police Story 2. But Police Story, the first one, the Jackie Chan movie, was on the TCM section, but then they didn't put it there. So I don't know what's going on. Then there's also Funny Games. And I don't know why, but they didn't have Babette's Feast either, which I thought was really odd that it wasn't in that section. But yeah, right there, Babette's Feast. Some of these say they're Criterion, but when I look them up, they're not actually. Oh, and then the last one that I found, but I knew about it anyway, was the Drive My Car. And so that's not anywhere right now, but it is on HBO Max, and that just got released with the Criterion collection. So if you didn't want to spend the money on it now, also Worst Person in the World is on Hulu. So there are so many places where you can find these films and not have to spend $20. And while I personally love having physical media, like I just love having it, and I love that I have access whenever, but I can't have access to everything. Sorry, I was literally just choking on dust, which is always so much fun. Um, but I would love to hear whichever films I missed from Criterion. Which movies are you still picking up from the sale? I would love to hear that as well. And did you find any here that you maybe didn't know were Criterion films that now you are going to watch? As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.